We're back, and we were just dialoguing about the piece that we just did in terms of movement and in terms of representation, about how things come about and how things emerge through the body, and when you address them in the present moment, how magnificent that becomes, because you realize your own capacity to move beyond whatever idea or limitation might be presented through the movement. You were talking about it's an isometric, the arm movement. It's not just this kind of thing, just like, okay, la la. It's really pressing up, pressing down to your full capacity, so that you are always challenging yourself, which of course life does. Always challenges yourself, you, myself, yourself, always challenging so that you may grow into your fully developed nature. We are, by nature, incredibly capable, incredibly able, incredibly magnificent beings that move beyond what we've been trained to believe about ourselves. So as we break these things down and find where within these stories have been held, then we get to take a look and go, well, do I want to keep my allegiance with this aspect of the story? Because should I choose this aspect of the story once again, then how am I free? How have I evolved, right? So really being able to recognize the self-creation of resistance, being able to utilize the musculature to create the resistance to grow. And that is exactly what the Bodyful mind is all about, creating emotional intelligence through this magnificent vessel, right? So what did you notice? Because I brought your attention to something.
Yes.
And I wondered about that. And
Yes.
while you were participating in that, you may have heard me say, Darcy, the weight of your head.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. You brought my attention to my head being forward.
Right.
While I was doing the...
Well, turn to the side so everybody gets to see what we're talking about, because you're looking at her face on. So bring yourself into what you recognize as full position and extension.
Yes.
Now take your head where it was. You may not.
It was like more like this.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting because...
What do you become aware of?
Well, the full participation, because I was like, oh, my head coming forward is actually a drop of the heart and a pitch forward of my whole torso.
Exactly. And so what happens in that?
Well, there's so many things that I'm recognizing that happened in the moment when you brought my attention to my head, and I focused on drawing up from the crown of my head toward the ceiling, and that I felt I made an adjustment, and then the ripple effect of the adjustment was that I lifted my heart, and then my shoulders, interestingly, dropped down and anchored even further. And what I recognized, there was a lot of thoughts occurring, heavy thoughts about my lack of ability, how hard this movement was. This is so difficult. I always hate this movement, all those thoughts. And the moment that I adjusted my head position, first I felt such a flush of energy, blood, heat, like as if I looked like a tomato. The level and the change in the circulation in my body was instant.
Yeah.
And then all of that doubt that I was focusing on dissipated immediately, because I felt in participation with the ability of my body. And what I recognize about the beliefs that I hold in my head, the limiting beliefs about my own ability, they are heavy. I do feel weighed down by them when I continue to believe them.
Yes.
Which is fascinating.
Or even unconsciously participating with them.
Right.
Because that's what you.
I was
that's
not
what you were
aware,
doing, yeah.
yes, of my head being pitched forward and my
Yes.
heart being dropped.
Yeah.
Okay. And I feel like, because I didn't even recognize until you asked me to do the movement again, that I was also dropping my chest as I pitched my head forward. And actually, my whole torso feels pitched forward from the waist up.
The waist up.
Yeah. That it
You
was
showed
like
me something else.
the pelvis.
There you go.
Because that's even deeper
That's right.
than the waist.
And
that
the
makes
pelvis
sense.
cradle is only related to your capacity to create. So,
Only that.
Yeah. so creating
Wow.
your own reality.
Wow.
Really.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
From my center of power and creativity up through
So how?
the heart,
That's right.
through the throat, the manner of expression, into my thoughts, into my wisdom.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. I mean, it's always amazing to me what my body demonstrates.
Yes. What your body will teach you.
Absolutely.
What your life really will teach you when you're available to your life, when you're available to bear witness, when you're available to hear yourself,
Yeah.
to feel where and when you stop the power of your own creative life force, when you stop
Yeah.
the expression of your heart, when you stop the expression of your wisdom, your innate wisdom, to which we are always connected, though we've been taught how to siphon off because we're not supposed to be powerful. We're not supposed to even be in charge of our bodies. We're not supposed to even be able to speak the truth of our heart unless somebody else gives us permission. So this is really this work, this recognition, this ability of the body to teach from within is life altering. So I wanted to bring that in because it's so quick. So quick.
Yeah.
And also what's easy is to power through.
Yeah.
If you could have left your head in that position and just started to grind from within, to power through. And a lot of people do that in movements and exercise because we're exercising to exercise. Though what we're doing is exercising ourselves in a limited form, in a limited capacity, because there is a relationship. The body does not lie. And that is probably the most beautiful expression I've ever made, and that I've been speaking of for the last 40 years. The body does not lie. So your tone of voice does not lie. There's ability to hear yourself and begin to participate from within, to change the course of your life. Empower yourself to do so. And that is to create emotional intelligence, not an overriding intelligence that divorces you from everything that you hold as your teacher. So with that, hopefully you'll pay attention to the placement of your head, the lift of your heart, the use of the construct of the body to support itself in its most dynamic capacity. So I think we're done with that for now. So we'll see you in the next clip. Thank you, Darcy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.